Good evening. Okay, greetings everybody. This is the 23rd episode of the Mobuku Chronicles. I haven't done one in, well, what does it look like here? Let me check. 3 months, I think. Yeah, so today, or tonight, here in America, the West Coast, it is Thursday, February the 27th, in the year 2014 AD, and that's right, the last one was November the 5th, my 66th birthday, or around about then. So, what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, there's a lot to talk about. This is the 4th year. I started the Mobuku Chronicles in 2011, and here we are in the 4th year. The year of what? Well, it's the year of the horse in Chinese, the Chinese Lunar New Year. And it's hard to say what's going to happen this year. I was thinking of calling it the year of the unraveling. What I mean by that is, yes, everything is unraveling, but the year of unraveling means that it'll become visible. You know, nobody can be able to, all the various mouthpieces that parade on TV and radio and the newspaper will not be able to hide it anymore. But we'll see. Maybe they will. But, okay, so the first topic is water. Simply because we had some very welcome rain last night, or yesterday. Well, yeah, last night, 0.86 inches. And we're having a water problem. And this water problem is the whole of the West Coast. California having a real hard time. They had a lot of rain today, and we're expecting more rain tomorrow. And of course in Brazil, 162 cities in Brazil have to have water rationing going on. They have a drought there too. And I was reading an article about this a couple of days ago. And they said, well, what can we do about it? Well, it's obvious what we can do about it. I just worked out, not so long ago, how much water my wife and I have not used as a result of eating macrobiotically for 38 years, meaning our primary food, instead of being meat, is whole grains. And our secondary food is vegetables, and our supplementary foods are beans, seaweed, fruit, and you know, the occasional chicken or fish. But primary is whole grains and secondary is vegetables. And I worked out that over the 38 years she and I have been eating macrobiotically and having meat, whole grains as our staple food instead of meat, we have not used 50 million gallons of water. There's just two of us over 38 years. And to put that in perspective, 50 million gallons of water is the amount of water the entire LA basin population uses in 1 year. So obviously the policy has to be, not that it will ever be implemented, to quit subsidizing meat. So meat has its real market value when it's priced according to how much it costs to actually produce, and it will be priced out of reach of everybody except for the uber wealthy, and they can eat all the meat they want, as far as I'm concerned, because you know, meat is just, it's a terrible food. And that nobody seems to bring up the point that the reason why Brazil is having their water problems is maybe something to do with the fact that millions of acres of the Amazon rainforest were cut down in order to make ranges so that they could put cattle on there to produce beef for the world. Now, nobody seems to bring that up. Alright, so that's the water thing. Now, and it's really important for everybody to become conscious about their conserving their water use in terms of their daily eating habits, in terms of their daily hygiene habits. You don't need to, I mean, if you eat a meat eater, well, you stink, okay? You have body odor, you have foul-smelling excrement, you have sweat, you have bad breath. Yeah, maybe you do need to take a shower every day. But if you're a macrobiotic, eating whole grains and vegetables, you don't need to shower every day. Every 3 days is plenty. And then don't flush the toilet every time you urinate. Do not do it. Please become very conscious of conserving our water usage, because we have a worldwide water problem because of poor management. Alright, so that's that topic. Now, next topic. I better write these down so I have a record of it. Next one, silver and gold. Just to touch on that, because it's a subject of very great importance. Yeah, it's being suppressed, manipulated 24/7 by the central banks and the bullion banks and the federal U.S. Treasury, etc., etc., because it is the mortal enemy, gold and silver, mortal enemy of the fiat currency regimes. And every fiat currency regime in existence, and they're all fiat currency regimes, are doomed to extinction, because that's the nature of fiat currencies. Sooner or later, average lifespan is about 41 years. They come to their fundamental intrinsic worth, which is zero. So every single currency in the world right now is being devalued, including the dollar, the Federal Reserve note, and the only reason why the Federal Reserve note appears to be doing better than the rest is because it's sinking slower than the rest. That's the only reason. And you better have gold and silver in your possession. In your possession, if you don't have it in your possession, you don't have it. Your personal possession. Alright, now, what else did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about, leading up to the fact that I don't trust any government in the world, period. None of them. They have no credibility, they're untrustworthy. All governments of the world are fundamentally organized crime syndicates of one kind or another. That's really what they are. Everybody's after their own pocket. All the leaders, the henchmen are simply henchmen for the bankers, and what serves as a sort of the visible governmental personnel are simply minions of what is known as a deep state. And this deep state is called a shadow government. It operates in secret. All right, it's been going for many, many years, obviously. And so I want to read something here. This is by a guy called Charles Hugh Smith, who has a blog called Of Two Minds. Yeah, and I've been reading his stuff up and on for quite some time now. And he has a recent one which is about this very topic of what he calls the deep state. He says here, I've been studying the deep state for 40 years before it had gained the nifty name deep state, whereas really what it should be called is a shadow government. Okay? What others describe as a deep state, I term the national security state, which enables the American empire, a vast structure that incorporates hard and soft power, military, diplomatic, intelligence, finance, commercial, energy, media, higher education in a system of global domination and influence. And there's no question that this shadow government in the United States is behind all the fires that are going off in the world today, as I speak. You know, Ukraine, Syria, Libya, Venezuela, Thailand, the Congo, you name it. Any kind of incendiary activity going on is basically finagled by this shadow government of North America. And this shadow government has no allegiance to any nation. All right, they don't have any allegiance to any nation, and the nation state anyway is digging its own grave. You know, so I mean the whole thing about borders and this and that is simply trying to carve these organized crime syndicates who have as their mastheads, you know, Obama and Putin and, you know, so forth and so on. They're just, you know, puppets. All these people are just puppets, you know, and everybody seems to give them like they have their own personal power. They don't have any power at all. The power is given to them by the deep state, and the deep state is worldwide, right? The shadow government is worldwide. And these people are they're transnational. They don't care about you or me or things like, you know, justice and fairness and a level playing field and equal access to the law for everybody. You know, they don't believe in any of that stuff because they're all above that. You know, they're superior to us. At least they think they are. I mean, they definitely do think they're superior to us. And he drew in 2007, this Charles Hugh Smith, a kind of a simplified diagram of this elite maintenance and extension of the global dominance. And there it is. Alright, so you can read that. And it's all the usual suspects, you know, mainstream media, global corporations, think tanks, non-governmental organizations, foundations, Madison Avenue, Congress, the judiciary, including the Supreme Court. You know, all these people are all working behind the scenes to extend their global dominance, and they want to basically dominate the entire earth. Now, so he says one key feature of the deep state is that it makes decisions behind closed doors, and the surface government simply ratifies or approves the decisions. It doesn't approve the decision, it just does as it's told. You know, because they're paid off. A second key feature is the deep state decision makers have access to an entire world of secret intelligence. And of course that has come to light with the National Security Agency spying on everybody 24/7, you know, through the internet, through your telephone, your cell phone, your webcam now. Now they look at you through your webcam. They're watching you, right? And right, so that's what that is all about. He said, he goes on to say, I would say that only senior military or intelligence officers have any realistic grasp of the true scope, power, and complexity of the deep state and its empire. Those with no grasp of military matters cannot possibly understand the deep state. No, because very few people understand that the military matters really fundamentally centers around narcotics. Yeah, major source of income for the military, the deep state military, is the heroin trafficking. 70% of heroin coming into Europe is funneled into it by the U.S. military from Afghanistan and Vietnam. And to the order of $800 billion to $1.2 trillion a year. You know, money laundering.